Hello everyone, my name is Douglas McNeil. I'm an early years teacher and specialist, and I have a particular interest in child development as well as the role of play and how that helps young children grow and develop. So today I'm here to talk about play. I'm here to talk about early years education and also a little bit about curriculum worldwide and what we do here within Rotterdam. So let's get started, shall we? We know that the skills and qualities that higher educational institutions like colleges and universities, as well as potential employers, we know what they're looking for in students and employees is beginning to change. It's no longer just the academics. We know that maths and literacy is of course important, but there are some new skills and qualities that are being deemed more important almost for life in the 21st century. You may have heard of these things before being called soft skills or 21st century skills, things like critical thinking, being able to look at a problem and be able to do some problem solving about how you're going to approach that problem. Things like creativity, thinking about how to solve something in a completely different way, maybe something that's never been done before, or maybe using what you already know to think outside the box. Collaboration, can you work within a team? Can you problem solve together? Can you communicate? Can you stand up and present? But also, can you listen to the ideas of others and incorporate that together? Metacognition, that's your ability to think about your thinking and to think about your learning and really to know how you learn best. And also, what motivates you? What makes you want to take part in something? What makes you want to learn? What are your interests? All of these things are now considered desirable attributes in students for potential employers and also potential students as well. And you'll see some of these skills happening just now in this picture here of some high school students. But have a look at this picture right now. You can see they're working together, doing all these things. And let's have a look at some pictures now of some younger students. Have a look and think about what you see. Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, metacognition, and motivation. Many early years researchers and educators argue that the same sought after 21st century learning skills have been nurtured and taught in the early years classroom for decades. But instead of 21st century skills or soft skills, we call it developmentally appropriate practice. In other words, we call it play. Play means choosing fun ways to learn, but play means different things to different people. It's based upon your own childhood experiences, and it's also based upon your experience of school as well. What's really important, as Alison said, is that consideration about balance. Let's look at the next slide. When we play, we learn to communicate our wants and needs and thoughts to other people. We learn to problem solve together. We're motivated to try again. So if you build a big tower out of blocks and it falls down, you want to have another go. You satisfy your curiosity by looking at different things, and you're always thinking about the what next? What am I going to do next? What's capturing your interest? All this is done through play. In early years, we have a very careful balance between playing freely and carefully thought out activities that teachers and educators have prepared. And when we tap into this style of teaching, we're not only supporting the development of the whole child, but we're actually preparing them for future success in their schooling. This balance of teaching between child-led and adult guidance is known as the zone of proximal development. That's where there's learning happening, but there's adults there to guide us along the way. And we see it all the time. You'll notice it in children if you happen to have young children yourself. For example, let's say they really want to brush their own teeth. They know that the toothbrush is going to go into their mouth, but maybe they still need some help putting the toothpaste on. Or maybe they're not too sure how long to do it for. They know what to do, but they need that adult guidance. Another example, let's say they're wanting to swim. They're going from one side of the swimming pool to the other side. But occasionally they might sink a little bit as they're learning. That adult is there to lift them up, to encourage them to keep kicking and to keep going. Maybe they want to bake a cake. The child knows that all the different ingredients go inside the mixing bowl. They might know that all needs to be stirred, but you need that adult there to kind of maybe guide the measurements or what's going to happen next. And we call that the zone of proximal development, that little area when something's too hard and something's too easy, but there's an opportunity for an adult to support and nurture a child's learning. Let's have a look at the next slide. So the curriculum we use here in North Anglia International School of Rotterdam is the International Early Years Curriculum, also known as the NAISR. Now, this curriculum is research-based. It began in 2015 and it looked at global best practice across the globe. So wherever you're sitting right now in the world, this curriculum was designed looking at best practice in early years across the world, starting specifically at the ages of 2 to 5 years old. And they created 8 guiding principles. I won't go into these principles in too much detail, but they basically talk about the importance of play and the importance that the adult has in that role as well. It covers every area of the curriculum, including math and literacy, but it's also looking at the whole child, how we really support them to develop a love of learning, and also how to be confident in their own abilities and their own communication as well. It's very much putting the child in the center of their learning, the child in the center of their play, and that's something you'll hopefully notice as we continue. It looks at 4 learning strands. Let's go to the next slide. So these 4 learning strands that the International Early Years Curriculum is based on is very much things that happen in early years education and play across the globe. This first strand is independence and interdependence, and that's going back to that values again, how to be a caring, nurturing person, how to have that self-confidence and esteem in your own abilities, and the idea to work with other people and to gain perspective, understanding even at 4 years old that you might like the color blue, but someone else might like the color red, and that's okay. That's actually the beginning of the international mindedness mindset, that ability to take another person's perspective. Second strand is communication, and communicating what you know, what you want to find out in any way, shape, or form. It could be through literacy and writing. It could be, even if you're just making marks, it could be using your words. It could be through numbers. It could be through ICT. It could be through the arts, how you express and communicate yourself. The third strand is about inquiring, satisfying, and nurturing that sense of curiosity. That could be about the world. It could be about the people in your community. It's your social sciences as well. And finally, that fourth strand is healthy living and physical well-being as well. So, of course, that fine and gross motor aspect, getting ready that we can cut and use our fingers with different tools, whether pencils or utensils, but also being able to climb and jump and look for risks, knowing when something's too high to jump from, being able to see a risk and kind of work out what to do, as well as hygiene, keeping yourself safe and trying different foods. Let's have a look at the next slide. All this is done through something called thematic learning. And that essentially means that when we're learning, when we're playing, it's all done through a topic. This is something that's done very commonly in early years education. And in the IUIC, there are so many different topics, but we'll take a couple of opportunities now just to look at some of these ones here. This first one here, To the Rescue, we can see the superheroes there. This one is all about people who help us in our local community. So if you have children that are interested in people that help in your community, whether it's firefighters or police officers or doctors or nurses or postal workers, this is an opportunity to really celebrate people that help you, and also thinking about what it means for them to help other people. The whole idea of this program is that they, in the end, become a hero just by helping out, whether it's helping out gathering the snack for the class, helping tidy up at the end of the day, helping out at home. This topic is all about understanding that there are many people in their life that help them and what they can do to really show those values. Another one, we've got the brilliant bug haul here. This one is wonderful. It's for satisfying natural sense of curiosity. I've had classes in the past where when we're outside playing, I've noticed that they are very interested in bugs and insects, finding worms or ladybugs or even spiders. And this is an opportunity where we can really dive into learning, diving into play by bugs and insects. Maybe we'll have an ant farm in the class, or gather some of the worms and make a wormery. We can take pictures, we can draw pictures, we can create our own books as well, and just start sharing and sharing our knowledge and understanding about what we know, asking lots and lots of questions. Down here, we've got dinosaur detectives, another favorite as well. We know that children love dinosaurs. And again, this is an opportunity to do everything through a topic. So if you're counting, if you are telling stories, if you're singing songs, everything is done through a theme. So this theme would be dinosaurs. Let's go on to the next slide. The IOIC utilizes a process called the learning process, where the child really is in the center of their learning. So let's imagine that we're looking at that dinosaur detectives unit again. Part of my job is to understand and to really think about what children like to play with. So if I notice that children are beginning to show a lot of interest in dinosaurs specifically, I'm going to think, right, let's get all the learning and play through dinosaurs. I get everyone ready. You'll see here in this big diagram, you've got the child in the middle, and at the top it says entry point. I'm getting everyone ready. I'm going to let the other teachers know. I'm going to let the parents know. I'm going to let the children know that very soon we're going to start learning about dinosaurs. I'm activating their prior knowledge, what they already know. I'm preparing children with the vocabulary and words that they need to know. And then I want to make something exciting happening. Maybe one day we'll walk into the classroom and there's some big dinosaur footprints all over the classroom floor, and there's a basket full of eggs. Maybe the classroom has been completely turned into a jungle. What I'm doing here is I'm capturing their curiosity and I'm enabling the environment. I want their play to be immersive. So right now, they'll have opportunities to dress up as dinosaurs, stomp around the classroom, and they're really excited and passionate. While this is happening, we're constantly reflecting back about what they're finding interesting. What are they really wanting to do with dinosaurs? Are they more interested about finding dinosaur facts? Are they more interested in dressing up dinosaurs as dinosaurs themselves and creating stories? Are they more interested in building dinosaurs? The early years teacher in the room is always looking at the play and supporting what could happen next, and looking for opportunities to support and scaffold and build upon what they're interested in, including those number songs, including those early years skills as well. We'll create lots and lots of different activities, always reflecting back to what the child is interested in. And then by the end, what we'll have an exit point or a fabulous finish where we have a celebration of their learning. Maybe we'll have a dinosaur parade. Maybe we'll have a dinosaur picnic or party. We don't know, because it's up for the children to decide what they want to do. That's why the child is always at the center of their learning journey. And it's our roles as adults to really support and nurture and kind of help them move along as they develop and grow. Let's look at the next slide. Communicating progress is really important, and a lot of research has actually been conducted about understanding what young children know. And we know that at such a young age, a child's understanding of the world comes from both the home and from school. But what's really important is that we bridge that together as much as possible. I myself, as an early years teacher, I need to know what they're doing at home, and if they're moving their understanding and learning between the home and school, so I can get a whole concept, a whole idea of where the child is in the learning. So what we do here, specifically at the North Anglia International School of Rotterdam, is that we make sure we share a learning overview each week. So the parents and home know the types of activities that the children are interested in and what's coming up next. We use an online platform called Seesaw to share photos and videos about some of the learning that's going on. It's also a lovely opportunity for the parent to sit with their child and to reflect back on some of the things that they've been doing. And also, of course, we have that more formal time where we send progress reports and also have consultations with parents as well. So we have a regular time to check in and report what we're noticing. Again, emphasis is on progress by stage and not necessarily age. We all know that children are moving and developing at different times. But what really is important is that we create this sense of a shared journey through a love of learning through play, really. And that's one of the reasons why early years education is so important, is that children feel really confident in their interests and that they can take what they're interested in and we can support and develop them. Because when children recognize and see that an adult is listening to them and following their interests, they're going to be really excited to come into school each morning and to play. So that's me for now. I'm going to pass over to Jack in case we have any other questions.